I could do one.
You guys pulled me up, maybe.
All right, let's rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you guys for coming. I know I saw Lindsay, you already signed in. If either of you guys are going to speak. Okay, as long as you got a fan club. All right, awesome.
I like it.
Approval of agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda with flexibility.
Got a motion from Scott and a second from Greg to approve the agenda with flexibility. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. The minutes you have distributed, there was one change on the second page on the voting for the market. Other than that, I think that was the only change from what you guys have distributed in front of you. So, give you guys a second and then entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes with the change as discussed.
Second.
Got a motion on the floor and a second to approve the minutes with the change as discussed. Is there any further? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Clerk Treasurer's report.
Vouchers being passed around, $246,020.95. It includes the first application for Cedar Creek Trails, and then also an additional change order for the concrete work for the ADA ramps. And they're both highlighted in there.
246, what was it?
$246,020.95.
95. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the voucher as delivered to us tonight.
I'll second that. Just
Got
didn't know the amount.
I got a motion and a second to approve the voucher as distributed in the amount of $246,020.95. Is there any further discussion on that? We'll do a roll call vote. Greg?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
And myself as an aye. Clerk Treasurer's considerations.
This is for the
What?
investment committee.
I was just gonna ask, do you have to break into investment committee? Like, is it a separate meeting?
I looked back at Tim.
I don't think so. Can I try?
Yeah, go ahead, Tim. Yep, we're looking at you.
Yeah, I think you can have this committee meet as just a part of your agenda.
Okay. Which
And
is,
reminding that all five of you plus Angela are the committee.
yep. So, thank you.
Sorry.
Yep.
So in your packets is the breakdown of where we stand right now. If we were to go ahead and start the investment, I have the original paperwork signed and set up with Trust Indiana. We have the account set up. Basically, our discussion today is going to be to decide what to do and when we want to do it. We haven't done anything because we've been holding off due to some of the current events around the area. But I think we can probably go ahead and move forward. So based off of what you're looking at, where we stand for our appropriations, our remaining cash flow is just a little over $5 million, and 25% of that would be $1.4 million almost. So I would just need someone to make a recommendation as to how much exactly we want to go ahead and put in. And Tyler, you're the second on the account, so it has to be
Somebody else signed it?
Yeah.
Okay.
you and I.
So basically, we can only invest 25%. So I say, I make a suggestion we invest the whole 25%.
So that would be a number of $1,366,937.02.
And that number will be slightly different because this is based off of numbers from last week's
Okay.
appropriations.
And where are we investing that again?
Trust Indiana, where the rate as of today, I believe, was 4.95%.
No, I remember that when you said that.
So it's still fairly.
I heard,
And
I heard
that's-
some of the interest was going up around 5.25, and so.
They were at 5.25 last year when we first started talking about this in July,
Mhm.
and then it dropped down for a little bit, but it is starting to go back up.
Good. Well, that's my
And
recommendation.
then, that's just like a savings, correct, or is that, yeah,
And we can pull that money back out at any time, we're not locked in, there is no contract or anything
no,
like that.
that's-
So do we have to go back, so do we have to pull it out during one of these meetings, right? So we'd have to pull it out at a meeting point if we were to need that.
no, I think if we approve the 25% or whatever the percent
Yes,
is,
it's an ACH transfer, is how it's automatically done.
Is that correct, Tim, that we can put it in
I
as a
think,
committee?
I think you can vote to, approve up to whatever, up to 25% of investment, however you wanna invest it. I will say that the institution may come back and require us to have an actual resolution. I don't know if that's the case or not, but that's simply we can do that simply. But I think you can suffice us to you guys vote that you want X percentage to be invested in this thing.
I'd like to make,
Is that what the-
I'd like to make a motion that we put the 25% investment into the $1,366,937.02.
I don't think that.
That's not gonna be the correct
It won't
amount.
be the, because it's
Oh,
adjusted
I'm
by.
sorry, I
just- so
thought that
just-
was the amount.
She said it changed.
It changed though, because we've had
So
a
just
couple.
say 25%,
If we just put the 25% in and the amount being
25%.
25% of the amount that you come up with.
It'd be 25% of our current cash flow the day that we wanna transfer it.
Exactly.
Great.
Sorry, my misunderstanding.
Yeah, I second the 25%.
Thank you. So we have an updated motion and a second on the floor for 25% of the current cash flow the day we transfer the funds. Is there any further discussion? If not, I'll do roll call vote. Greg?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
Motion carries.
What were you?
Aye.
Okay.
You wanna go on to we can close that. Do we have public safety information in here too?
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
close the meeting. or the
Yeah,
meeting.
just move on to the
Yep.
public safety portion for you.
Yeah, we can. So everybody's got a copy of the public safety report I did regarding the additional officers. There was question as to whether we could get anybody at $35 an hour, so I gave everyone a good comparison of what we would have been paying out at $35 an hour, 2 officers, 15 hours a week. We can actually go all the way up to 20 hours a week for 2 officers each at $45 an hour, and we will still be under budget.
All right.
So basically, we had 2 officers, Officer Peters sent out an email. 2 officers agreed to do it at the 35. He explained it. It was 1099, what it would equate to, the taxes out of it. They both agreed. I think one of them actually signed paperwork.
We did.
And at the last minute, they both backed out. They said it wasn't enough. So,
Well, I don't know anything with that, but, so let's talk about,
we went back, to the council, we said we'd get approved for 45 an hour, and then Peters will post it for the whole department.
Yeah, he said he was gonna post it back out to all of them again.
so let's talk about what they're gonna be doing, the hours, I'm more interested in that.
Yeah, I
than
think when
money.
we talked about that, I
Yeah.
think Greg had mentioned he wanted some mornings and evenings, kinda brush time on both situations, and then some Saturday hours possibly.
And
So
this is based off of 12 weeks, so 12 weeks out of the summer. I did base that off of a total 12 week
I remember we
period.
talked about that.
Well, originally it was just gonna be May and June,
Right,
so now we're going 3-month time frame.
So, if I'm correct, you're gonna add 30 hours a week on top of Officer Peters' hours.
If we do the 15
Oh,
correct.
yeah.
If you do the 20,
Be 40 hours.
and are we, how are we gonna track what they're doing? I'm sure there's a way.
Peters has an activity log set up for them that they need to turn in after
I
the
can
shift.
print that for you, because he sent those to
After
me.
the
No,
shift or at
it's-
the end of the week, I can't remember which one he said. I think they've been instructed to make sure they're meeting their goals, to pull people over and.
They're not just sitting around.
Correct, yeah. Plus, I think for the next couple of weeks, Peters has a trainee with him, so they've been making quite a few stops, I've heard, especially at Grable and Schwartz.
Why do we need it? Like, what generated the idea to hire more?
Public
Where's it
complaint,
coming from? Public complaints, we had a lot of complaints in what, Pioneer Village, I think Lake, or Leo Lakes
Yeah, Lakes
Edition.
Amsterdam's.
Amsterdam.
Oh, shoot, yeah, he was.
A lot of
State
speed
Road 1.
complaints, yeah.
anybody downtown that has a business,
Yeah,
patrons walking down to those businesses, on and on and on.
Oh, yeah, that's horrible.
Coming out of town.
I guess I'm just, I mean, when you evaluate it, it just seems like a lot of hours to be adding. And I know we talked about it last year, and I'm all for additional resources.
yeah, I think the 15 hours, if I'm not mistaken, is what we agreed to earlier in the year. I don't remember if it was 15 per officer, or was it 15 total?
I went back and looked at the meeting minutes, and it's
Yeah, it's
from
like I-
February 6th, and the way it reads, it was 15 for each officer.
So the only thing real, I mean, the big adjustment is the hourly pay.
Well, and I still see a lot of, and maybe you can talk to Officer Peters, teenage or younger driving golf carts, four-wheelers, UTVs, ATVs. I have one with no stickers. We're just not compliant with that. And it's $10 a year for a sticker to ride on the road legally. And I see a lot of them out doing it. I see your eyebrow going down. You gotta register your vehicle to ride on the road with your UTV, ATV, off-road vehicle, whatever it is, to be in the county. Am I correct?
I believe so. Plus, you're supposed to have that slow-moving triangle too, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
I think
these
you
ain't
had
slow
to have a
moving.
triangle.
These are 100-mile-an-hour vehicles.
Yeah.
Now, the golf cart is supposed to have a slow
Slow
moving
moving
for
vehicle.
sure.
Yeah.
But I know, because I registered mine, it's $10 a year, and you do it 3 years
Yeah.
at a time. Why would you not, to be legal? And we're supposed to have insurance on them and golf carts per our state or our local statute. And,
Driver's license.
yeah, driver's license for the golf cart. And a friend of mine, just want to bring it up, didn't have it, hit a car, his 15-year-old daughter, and it's in a lawsuit. It's PLPD is what, or, limited liability is what I have on mine, and it's $55 a year for
Yeah.
each of them. It's very inexpensive.
I wasn't aware that you had to get a ticket for it, though. I just thought the triangle was slow-moving vehicle.
But our rule for Leo is you have to have insurance.
Sticker, yeah.
No,
I
for a
figured
golf
that.
cart, you don't have to have a sticker. It's for
Yeah.
The
four-wheeler, side-by-sides,
Gotcha.
that is
Yes.
golf carts now, but
You have
insurance.
to have
on both.
insurance on them.
And I believe is it driver's license?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
According to the ordinance, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I do the driver's license too.
yeah.
And there's a lot of not.
Oh, a lot.
You can barely reach the pedals, so I'm pretty sure they don't have a driver's license.
I think some of them
So,
are 10 or
I guess
less.
the question is, how flexible, I mean, obviously, we had originally talked speed enforcement, but if we're seeing this other stuff going on, is that stuff?
I'm not saying we need to ticket those people.
No,
just
I think we need to inform and,
yeah,
at least-
inform is a good way
yes,
of putting it.
yes, inform people. when-
Unless it's repeated.
Right,
offender.
Well,
yeah.
No, that could be part of it, I mean, it's not set in
Don't
stone.
go look for them, but if you see them,
Yeah.
maybe,
encourage compliance.
yes.
Driving on the sidewalk,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. Encourage compliance is nice and inform.
yes.
So. Is
So
everybody,
the question in front of us is if we agree to raise the rate.
Oh,
So-
so I guess how many hours, is it 15 at 45 what we're looking at?
It'd be 30 hours a week at $45 an hour.
So,
So that's what we agreed to last time, was the 15 hours.
yes, I'll make a motion that we pay our extra officers 45 an hour, 15 hours per officer times 2.
I'll second that.
For now, we're in discussion again. Is that enough?
We coming back.
Yeah. I mean, because realistically, it's not a ton of money when you're 1099.
Yeah.
You automatically, right off the top, lose 24% at entry.
And I know one of the complaints from one of the officers that backed out was if he wrote a ticket, he'd have to go to court, it'd be on his own time.
That's, I didn't think about it until after I made the motion.
Well,
I kind of thought it'd be on my own time too if I wrote a ticket, so.
Well, and not only that, but I'm hearing too that, there's some grants out there right now where these guys are making $60 an hour.
Yeah, there's always
And there's
speed
always higher
enforcement
pay.
and seatbelt
Right.
enforcement programs
But this is,
going on.
the way I look at it is, and I explained it to one of the young men, I said, you know, you've expressed it to me that you wanted to be a part of this community. And I said, this would be a good way for you to learn about this community and then, you know, possibly for the town council and other people that are watching you work, you know, when the door opens up someday, that you might be selected for that job if you really wanted it. And, you know, I seen a little light turn on, but it's too late, you know.
and I think that we have enough room left in our budget if they have to go to court. And they, you know, what I mean, they're gonna have documentation, they gotta go to court for something they did. There's plenty of room left in our budget here that we could clearly,
We can try,
Accommodate.
Yeah.
probably accommodate and
Yeah,
help
that's
that
not
out
a
some.
bad idea.
we
You
can
know
at
what I
least pay for an hour.
Just say,
Yeah.
just say 3 hours for going to court.
So that's, I figured it out.
Not
Yeah.
enough?
I wouldn't pay him 3.
No,
Oh.
3 hours.
No, it's gonna be 20 minutes or
Yeah,
an hour.
yeah.
it's 1
Okay.
hour.
Yeah.
So at 45 at 15 hours a week, minus 24% is 513 a week. That's not a bad
That's not a
side
bad
gig for
thing,
Leo.
Yeah.
Okay, I just was thinking through my head and
Yeah.
So I got a motion on the floor in a second for the $45 an hour per officer, 2 officers, for a total of 30 hours a week. Is there any further discussion on that? Do a roll call vote. Greg?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Andy?
Aye.
Brian?
Aye.
And I'm an aye.
Look for a red truck, I mean,
Ready to eat?
You wanna do the interlocal?
nothing red. That's what I
Angela, you
meant.
wanna talk towards the interlocal?
Nothing red, huh?
That's what I meant.
Or silver?
I didn't know if it was you or, it looks like it's you.
She emailed it to me, I just sent
That's not
it
me.
to be added to the agenda. This
Okay.
is just the interlocal agreement that they have with the Allen County Highway Department that just needs to be signed again. It's the end of our 2-year contract with them. So at the end of this year, it'll renew for 2 more years and be, it'll expire again on December 31st of 2027. So they already started rolling out the renewals for everybody to sign and get them in place. Basically all it is the same agreement as before.
And comparing to what we had, it's the same document.
Yeah, it looks identical.
So what do we need to do for that?
I think we'll take a motion just to be clear and move forward.
I'd like to make a motion to enter to the interlocal agreement with Allen County on miscellaneous services, consultant services, and materials.
Got a motion on the floor, is there a second?
Oh,
Greg
second.
seconds it. Sorry.
It's okay.
Any further discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Tyler?
Yep.
Hey, it looks like, and you guys can see this, it looks like they're looking for individual signatures
Yeah.
and notarization from you guys, so.
Yep.
All right.
We can all sign before we leave and then Angela can notarize or Tina.
Okay.
Alright,
Simplex.
we're on a roll here. Let's see here. Well, Simplex is, that's on her report though, sorry. Anything else, Angela, for us? Alright, thank you. Lindsay,
Hello,
howdy.
thank you guys for having me today. So I'm here essentially in the name of two things, sustainability and efficiency for the Leo Cedarville Foundation and its event, Freedom Festival. So obviously I came about a month ago to come speak with you guys about the foundation, the nonprofit, what we do throughout the community, Freedom Festival, answer some specifics, gave you guys some financials and kind of some details there. So happy to answer any more questions you have about that. But really just here today to ask for funding. If you guys are interested in funding this, the idea is potentially a 3-year allocation, a 3-year commitment. Again, just in the name of sustainability and efficiency, so that if I am killed by a bus tomorrow, that somebody else is able to come help, know what to count on, know what not to count on, whatever that may be. So it supports Freedom Fest, but then also the foundation as a whole. And so whatever that is, if that is none, that is totally fine. Then we know what to count on. If it's 1,000, if it's 5,000, if it's 15,000, whatever that amount is totally fine. We just want to be able to kind of move forward, knowing what to count on for a couple of years. Absolutely coming back after the festival in the fall and a couple of times throughout the year, updating you on the foundation, on Freedom Fest, on what that commitment looks like. But this commitment is just going to be able to show us a lot about the support for the foundation, but then also the feasibility of having the event and an all-volunteer nonprofit in years to come. So appreciate it and happy to answer any questions.
What kind of financial commitment are you looking for here?
I see, that's the thing. You guys were elected by taxpayers. You guys know what you guys are dealing with. You know, it's been everything from, for many years, it was a $5,000 commitment that lowered to $3,000 during the COVID era. And then you guys helped out with fireworks when we were kind of in a lull there, just post-COVID in 2021, 2022, up to the tune of, 9,000 to 14,000. So it's kind of been all across the board. Again, historically, after, kind of the foundation took it over for the town, it was at that $5,000 mark. The most pivotal thing is just knowing that to count on it for a couple of years and then be able to come back, but not every year, council turnover, whatever, just needing to re-explain and reintroduce ourselves.
That's what I was gonna just bring up. I've got, I can't remember who got elected with me, but I got 2.5 years left. And then, you and I?
All three of us.
And then these guys got 3 years left. I wouldn't want to go outside of that realm of either 2 to 3 years because I go along with what we've done in the past of not inflicting something on a council past us. But I would recommend my suggestion for just to open it up, $5,000 for the next 3 years. If that's comfortable with everybody else, but you got to start somewhere. So that's where I would start.
What do we have? We had a budget line at one point.
We still do, $15,750.
I think it needs to be more than that. That's my opinion.
More than 15 or more than
5 for times 3. Because that's for this year's, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
And it'll also help us clean up our budgeting too. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
Right now we're budgeting 15,000, and if whatever we decide on, we can budget X amount.
What would be ideal,
Ideal.
comfortable, not,
Yeah, ideal for me, something realistic, I think, for the commitment and everything else that we're doing, through New Allen, through the Community Foundation, all that kind of stuff, the 10 to 15 range, I think $10,000 would be comfortable. It would be very generous to know that we can count on that. That's 1/3 of the festival as it stands right now, and puts you guys at that, there's a sponsorship level, presenting sponsorship for that. So.
I think 10 times 3. It's my personal opinion. I'll make a motion that we commit to a 3-year commitment with the foundation, $10,000 per year.
I'll second that.
Now we can discuss.
Discussions?
Well, that level that we raised it at, it's always been, so far since I've been a councilman, we've always gave, I think if I remember right, it's been 4,000. One year, 2 or 3 councilmen dropped it down to $3,000, like she said. While those 3 councilmen was a majority, it got down to that for 2 or 3 years, I think. And then things changed, politics changed, and then it went back up to 4,000. And then one year, a group of councilmen, not me, I voted nay, raised it to 15,000 in my absence when I was gone at that meeting, by the way. So that's how that got raised to 15,000 in the budget. Again, some of us did our homework, and this wasn't in the foundation's favor, but the average town, that's 4 to 5 times what they usually give their foundations for these type of things. I was feeling generous at 5,000, so I can't support 10 because, again, we polled the people in town, and the response, 80-some% was.
Of how many?
I can't remember. I think it was 180 or 200.
Out of 3,500.
$4 grand. Yeah, we're close to 4 grand.
Okay.
But I mean,
So it's not a good poll,
well,
in my opinion.
it's the people that took interest in participating in it.
No, I agree. I'm not here to.
Yeah, so that's how I feel. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm done.
I look at this as what it does for our community. It brings people in. The pizza place runs out of pizzas, toppings and dough. What? That's great. Then the other one gets ran out. The gas stations, soon to be a liquor store out here downtown. By the looks of it, won't be this year. Steady Eddie's, the 408's back under contract again. So that's, probably gonna be something as well. I kind of have an idea what it is. So, I mean, it's not just taxpayer money going out. It's supporting our local businesses, it's supporting our community. That's how I look at it, right, wrong, or otherwise. That's my opinion and nothing more. These people run out of food, the gas stations are all packed. We're putting it back into our community.
I want to take it one step further. Greg, I'm going to be honest with you. I was in the same boat that you're in. I was, hey, let's give X, and then we're going to dwindle this down to as little as possible. But to be honest, after meeting with them and realizing everywhere the foundation's involved and what they're helping in elsewhere, I think it's wise decision making on our behalf to support the other functions that they have going on that the potential is there eventually for them to bring in more money. So that's why I don't know, I kind of like the 10,000 number personally, but we'll get to that in the voting section.
Yeah.
Well, I was impressed when I met with them too. That's why I raised it to 5,000.
Right.
And then I also gave her my personal promise to support him through my business, which is not going to see a dime of this in return.
Right.
But no, there won't be anybody supporting my business through this. So my generosity is coming straight from my heart to the foundation.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just going off of what the taxpayers in this town let me know. So
I think I do want to make a couple of notes just for the record on that. The survey, we were never able to approve the survey. If you put it through any kind of bias system, the survey was incredibly biased. You talk to other communities and maybe they don't give something financially, but somebody either sits on the board, somebody sits on the committee, the town councilmen come and volunteer at the event. There's a lot of other parts to that. So I absolutely appreciate the survey opportunity. And I think when we move forward with the strategic planning session, I think having something on there, either about Freedom Fest specifically, or do you want to see more events? I think that's really going to give us a good needle on really where the sentiment is. So again, I appreciate that, but I just wanted to make sure for the record that was recognized, as we did not see that as an unbiased survey.
Yeah, I agree. When we do our survey, hopefully we get a nice response.
Yeah.
And that a lot of that needs to be on there because a lot of the stuff you do does affect our community.
Absolutely. And that was, when I first came to you guys and I wanted to level with you guys to say, this is not a pet project project. This is something that we wanted to come to you guys and meet with you and say, do we see value in this? Is there a way that we could spend these volunteer hours, these monies, somewhere else where it could be more fruitful to the businesses, to retaining and recruiting tax dollars here? Is there something else that we can be doing? And the response unanimously was, well, no, it's a good event. And so we're trying to figure out ways to minimize cost on that. But if it is that we comes back and a survey says absolutely not, this, if the festival does not happen, we will absolutely revisit that and what we can continue to do with that. So just know that we have been transparent as much as possible. We will continue to do so.
And you're outside the city limits, right?
He's outside
Yes,
town.
yeah, it's just as good.
So
Sort of like,
Robin's the only one
literally on
that's
the
in the
border,
town.
literally.
Yeah, I don't know how much tax money extra we bring in, but I would say the majority of the people who actually come to the fireworks aren't Leosito residents. I mean, that we're putting on a big show for surrounding, maybe even counties, I don't know.
So anecdotal.
It's great,
Yeah.
I mean, but that's probably the truth of it.
Absolutely. I mean, it draws 10,000 people, and what you just said, we're at 4K. So we know that the 10 to 15,000 people. However, I also know that the past people who just owned Leo Cafe, most recently from this one, they came directly from an event like this and said, "This is a Gilmore Girls-like town. I want to come here and put business dollars and tax dollars here." And obviously that didn't work out long term, but there's countless anecdotes of that sort of thing in general. Again, personally, it's a lot of work. We know this. I'm not even a big fan of fireworks. I think they're very expensive, but I know that people really love them, and I've also been asked. So again, this is kind of just vetting the town interest and longevity.
You guys have anything?
You don't have an opinion?
No, I believe it's worth the investment, draw a lot of people, and I think that we should support it with 10 grand. That's just my opinion.
All right, so if you don't have anything, Brian, then we'll get to the question. So, got a motion on the floor and a second for 10 grand for a 3-year commitment.
10 grand each year.
Yes, sorry. 10 grand each year for 3 years. Do a roll call. Greg?
Nay.
Scott?
Yay.
Andy?
Yeah.
Brian?
Yay.
And I'm a yay as well.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Lindsay. Brush collection. Andy, you asked for this to be on the agenda.
When people ask me, I didn't feel like that we were clear on how we left it. As far as, hey, I believe that we're gonna try to do it once a month, maybe once a year, once, in the summer. I heard different versions, so I wasn't quite sure.
We can discuss that, no motion.
I think I asked, I asked if Brent would look for alternative sites
Yes.
within our incorporated area.
Well, we
I
burnt
haven't heard
there
back yet.
for
We haven't been able to
years.
identify one.
We burnt there for years, have we not?
Right.
So the problem that created a ruckus was wind. I think it's in our favor to open it back up to town, maybe during Brent's hours that he's there. I don't know that answer. But the good news is, Chris Miller, our newest town maintenance guy, has spent years on the fire department. So therefore, maybe we only burn in ideal situations that he's very well aware of, and it's low to no wind. Because when we did it like that, we didn't have hardly any complaints. We lit it that last time, and it goes straight right into residents, and I wouldn't like that. I mean, nobody would like
Sure.
that. But I want to see, how can we limit it just to town to the best that we can? We can't police it all the time.
It's not, I don't know if that's gonna work. It's gonna be like the recycling center again. You're gonna end up with big stumps and couches and.
Well, we haven't had that.
History's gonna be repeating itself.
Yeah.
I
Grass
say we
clippings.
have to find someplace within the town that limits that may not appear to be something we can use now, but if we use some imagination, we could use it. There's gotta be something somewhere.
It was there because it was a high hill, and if you light with no wind, it goes straight up.
Straight
in the
up.
air.
I get it.
I guess
I get it,
the other
I get
thing
it.
is, I
And
mean, I think
before
we've
that,
all
yes.
sat here and said how we want to improve that area across from our beautiful park. Do we want to put big piles of brush over there again? Maybe
Good
we should
point.
find places outside our community that we can communicate with our citizens so that they can drop their stuff.
That's a very
It might be
valid
better.
And I know that we had talked some early on, Tenna, about utilizing our interlocal with the county to do, they come in, they'll chip it. Shredder, chip it.
Yeah, we talked
But
about that.
I don't think it's wise of, so this is my opinion again, I don't think it's wise of us to open it in general, but if we have an event comes through that requires, that has a lot of trees that come down and branches that come down, then at that point, I say we open it for a week or two, and then it closes back up again, and then we contract out to be shredded.
I mean, like possibly tonight.
Yeah, like possibly tonight.
So-
Honestly, that's,
So that, and I think it goes back to something else you all mentioned too, that, like when we do bulk pickup with trash, maybe there is a weekend each summer that, or a certain week we set aside as brush collection, but that means people are having to keep it at their home somewhere, and that's not ideal, so
Yeah,
there's a lot of
well, but I mean,
good and bad.
I think some of it's gonna be education on them too, because you can take it down to Lake Avenue and pay $2 and get rid of a whole trailer load of wood, of tree limbs. I know it's outside our community and it's work, but ultimately that's the reason Lake Avenue exists, the city site. You know, you pull in, they weigh you, it costs you $2 or $3. I think it used to cost like $4 for a whole truckload of, like a pickup truckload of branches. And that seems, I mean, I know it's away from our community and it's a little bit of a drive, but I think that's generally a wiser use of that space would be to do it only when a storm or there's a necessity based on nature.
yeah, and Brian's right. I mean, I really want to see it back, but if we're cleaning that area up, it's a very valid concern. And I'm looking at the school property, and it looks like it's all farmed. And
Yeah.
because it'd be ideal to maybe in these rare situations or once a year or a big event to go out there on their property because it is in the town limits and there is nobody there and it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. I'm sure they don't get much.
But you
check
get
on
an
it.
east, you get a west wind and that's all blowing into Pioneer Village.
Well, but I'm just
You
saying
know, so-
that if, you know, like once a year, maybe
Right.
take it there, have the chipper come out. I agree now that, I didn't think about that, is I don't even want it over there for the chipping. If we are trying to clean it up, and we are,
Right.
then maybe another site for that, or storm or whatever. And maybe we can talk to the school where they're just dumping the dirt, you know, maybe not burn it, maybe we can use that for the storms or for the.
Put in a small
once
pad
a
there or
year,
something.
yeah. Cleanup, like a spring cleanup once a year, and then only if we have a storm.
Brent and I talked once about the 17 acres space too, but that's in the middle of so much residential, it just seemed
Well, we wouldn't do it
not
for burning, it would
appropriate,
be-
you know?
Just as a holding ground for,
Yeah.
for chipping.
Yeah, like say once a year, and I'm just throwing out days, like May 1st, if you doing spring cleanup, take your stuff there. That's it, or a major storm. And then do the chipping or haul it or whatever it is we're doing with it.
I think the only way to do it is chip it. I mean, unfortunately.
I'm not here to argue one
All right.
second with that. It's better than burning,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, mulch then.
Yeah, and some of their land over there where they're dumping that dirt is already pretty,
Rough.
yeah, that's a nice way of putting it.
So to answer that I don't know that we've fully answered this question,
No,
but
but-
clearly we don't want it over there. I think we're gonna need to hammer down on whether we wanna do it just after, like for storm cleanup, at least this season, as we investigate a place where we maybe can do it more than that, or if we want to, you know, throw some dates on a calendar that we're gonna have a place open.
I think for this year, maybe storm cleanup, and then let's try to get some for next spring for cleanup. I think most people are done cleaning up or getting
Right.
towards the end. I mean, we're already a week into May, but I don't know what happened to the other 4 months.
Great.
I would, I'm gonna suggest that, and I'll volunteer myself, and if anybody else wants to help, one or two of you, I don't care, well, we can't have two or three.
It has to be one.
Somebody else wants to help me, we'll get on the computer, get a GIS up and pick a spot, look our area over well. That we gotta have someplace around here where we got 2 to 3 acres that we could do this on and get it out of the public eye. And if we want to chip it out there, we could chip it out there wherever this might be. But I would really like to get on the computer myself and drive around and look what we got either inside our incorporated limits or possibly have somebody in the area that would lease us 2 or 3 acres or donate it for this type of thing. There might even be somebody that would do that so they could get the chip, get the chips themselves, and I got a couple other ideas in my head that I don't want to share right now, but I think I'll look into them. So I'll definitely, seems like I got a lot of time in my hands lately, so I don't have any responsibilities. So I'd like to take this on if somebody wants to help me.
Well, if we had a buffalo farm, I could put it at.
I know. We could.
Anybody want to help Greg look into it?
I'll help Gregory.
Okay. So,
I need help.
I'm happy with that. If we can find a place out of public's eye that we think we can utilize.
I think that's the answer because history has proved itself many times. We've opened those gates up, we open them up, and then we keep ending up with trash
Well,
over
and
there.
we are cleaning it up.
And
It's looking
and
good.
to bring up a good point, we were saying to clean it up. We just moved. Where's he at? Oh, he's not here today. We just moved all that stuff over to the barn to clean it up, make it look nice.
Right.
So there's no sense spitting back on it, right?
Yep.
And we've made promises to our residents over there and our citizens that this wouldn't happen again.
All right.
So there is an alternative. You just have to look, right?
All right.
Thank you.
Fire district. From our perspective, the only thing I think we have is we have 2 titles, I believe, that we need to get transferred over to them. That requires us to do, was it a resolution?
There's 2 resolutions, one for us to sign them over and then one for the fire district to accept them, and our attorneys are already working on it.
Okay, so once those are done, we'll get them signed out and get them moved over. I have not heard an update from Cedar Creek Township as of yet. I do know that they did turn over funds, and I think that was right before our last meeting. And they turned over the titles to their trucks. Although it does sound like they're gonna come back and do the same thing we're doing, because it's the only way you can transition a title, but that is done. And I know that they've been working with Nick Jordan to get things moved around, so,
Well, as long as the public understands through the minutes that there's still somewhere in the area of 1.3 to 1.5 million that's still unaccountable.
and that's just in the general fund. There should be another 750-ish thousand, 53,000.
797.
Is it now?
797. It's in the.
Should be Cume Fire,
Yes.
so, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. The 797 was in the general fund with the other.
No,
It's the Cume fund.
753 was the
The Cume.
Cume Fund.
Yes. I'm
So,
sorry.
Yes.
I get those numbers mixed up.
So, and we have not let it go, obviously. The pressure is off some to get the money there. Yesterday, or actually obviously May 1st was our deadline, and that did happen. So that relieved some of the immediate pressure, but the pressure is not gone to make it all happen and get it there.
Right.
So, that's all I have on that. Anybody else have anything question-wise?
No, I just want to keep it on the agenda every meeting.
Yep, and as things arise or we think we need to get things out, I'll send you guys individual emails.
I'll do the same because I'm working on a couple things too.
Okay. We are a renewal of the Allen County interlocal. So I'll just jump down to town manager's report.
Well, and with that, we did have the badge entry system for the town hall. There was a quote for that.
Yeah,
This was suggested.
yeah, and with that, after reading through what they've given us, I don't know that it makes a whole heck of a lot of sense for us to go to it if we still have to come run in and enter our code. Most of the systems now, when you badge, it automatically code you out. So I don't know if Simplex doesn't offer that or not. That was the intent, is that instead of having to remember our code, we could have just bloop, and it would have been offline.
Yeah.
I don't care about the key, that doesn't bother me, it's just, I got so many codes and passwords floating around my head already, that if I don't write them down somewhere, then you're defeating the purpose of being safe.
Yeah, it had something to do with the structure of the door and how we're set up with our alarm, that it couldn't badge in and out.
Okay.
But you could swap it for the key, but once you came in, this is a different system and you still. So, and I asked if there was an alternative and he said no, but
What system?
not for this.
Is our alarm system now?
Simplex
Oh,
is
it
who's
is.
through.
Oh, okay.
Did we, I mean, I guess at this point, short of.
Yeah, I didn't ask other companies
Yeah.
because we're already tied into
Yeah, but
this one.
I don't know. What, go ahead, Scott.
It's just nothing with the alarm system. That probably should be on the next agenda. Of using the land across the street for different uses.
Yes, it will be.
Yep.
So, in my opinion, I don't think it's worth, if you guys feel differently, go ahead and make your motions, but without it killing the alarm, I don't see the sense that it makes to spend whatever it was, $3,200.
Nope, I agree. In my office, I swipe and.
Kills
everything's-
everything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It was gonna be cumbersome too, the way it was, like, the cords would have to come down the wall and stuff.
so,
Town manager report, just gave an update in my report on the different projects like the trail and Amstead's Road, Grable Road Bridge. Today we had our Cedar Creek Trail meeting. And as a side note to the meeting, I took engineers down to Halter Road to address two specific residents' issues with the way that the storm drains have been put in their yard. And there will be adjustments made based on those meetings today to the residents' properties so that they aren't as difficult to maintain after it's all said and done. Because the drainage was put in rough riprap and it's too steep. So anyway, if you hear some concerns from residents, we are addressing those individually along there. And otherwise, the project has run into a snag. They found a drain tile that will run in a certain section under the trail. Nobody knew this existed. It's not on any map everywhere. It's flowing really heavy and we were able to track where it flows. So now they've got to do some backpedaling and figure out, we have to televise it to see if we can find out where it's going to, so that when we tap it, we know we're not overflowing it or if we need to run a new line. Because all along, it's complicated, but there's these inlets that have been there for years, and it's been assumed all along that the pipe runs this way through the inlets, but it actually goes this way. And nobody knew that line was there. And so we've got to back up. It's kind of stopped for the moment on Halter as of today. Derek's trying to find someone to televise quickly. It'll be a small change order, but we're not out of scale of budget yet, so we had 50,000 in contingencies and we have not spent that in changes yet. So I'm just letting you know that this is like the third snag. Two of them, bad soil, we had the geogrid, now we're trying to track we're called the mystery line. But it's moving forward at good pace even despite that.
In light of our little issue, I think it was last week, that the barricades went up and the town stopped. Is the school or anybody invited to these meetings so they know what's like? So I see the AEP will be moving poles mid-month out here, which means that we're gonna have pole trucks and flaggers and a bigger mess. Is the school transportation, or is the school invited to these meetings?
And
is
they attend, he attends.
Okay.
And while it hasn't been there have not been attending with the Cedar Creek Trail project to this point, we weren't supposed to be on that side of the road until after school lets out. And
Well, but
that
even,
was just a weird thing because the head of the whole project had met with those guys at 6 a.m. And after he walked away, he had said, here's what I want you to do. And he walked away and they did the opposite of what he said. And it's just a fluke, you know?
right. Well, I think are they invited to the Cedar Creek Trail Project meeting?
I believe they're aware, but if I would be happy to make sure he knows.
Just-
It's like I said, they weren't expecting to get involved until it got closer
Well,
to the first week of June.
but I know like the Halter Road, when they put those in, it created backups because transportation had to back the buses out. They had to stop picking up kids, and we're finding this as we go along this project that they should be aware of some of this stuff, because if a bus gets in someplace, or if they get in and they get a car behind them, they can't back anyhow, and it really backs everything up. So I really think that they need to be invited, and I think it may
They
be
have been, but yes.
encouraged to attend, and it may be wise to add a Zoom meeting to that, so that way that there's a Zoom link to that meeting as well, so that way if they can't attend in person, they can at least get on and hear what's going on. So, and I don't believe that there's a Zoom link attached to that meeting.
There hasn't been.
Okay.
Well, actually today we did have a Teams meeting
Okay.
for the trail, but there has not been until today's meeting.
All right.
Could those, I'd like to really be copied on those with the Zoom link.
Okay.
Also,
Everything's just blowing up for me right now. It's the busiest time of the year.
Well,
But even if it's a Zoom, I can definitely get on that.
right.
In
They're
person's
every other
difficult.
Tuesday, but I will send them
And
to you.
then
Thank you.
the other one's on Thursday, right?
Every other Wednesday, and they're opposite weeks.
Yeah.
So basically, there's one every week, but they're opposite, Amstead,
Yeah.
Cedar Creek. And,
Just move it.
Thank you for
Yeah.
taking care of and getting it rectified. But it was a mess. Anybody who was caught in it knows it was a mess. There's no other way around it. It was not pretty. So we got it rectified, but we need to make sure that everybody's in the loop on the communication.
yeah, I didn't realize they were gonna close, cut through Halter during bus route time. That was supposed to be a 1 to 2 hour closure tops, and they were still trying to maneuver people around when possible, but what they didn't say was, we're gonna do that while the buses are running. And
Right.
I could have said, wait till 8:30, just
Right.
do something else. So some of that,
We just need to, like I said, it may just be a little bit of a deeper questioning on some of that, just to make sure that we're not impacting. We promised, I was in the first meeting, we promised the school that we were gonna limit our impact, and so far, it sounds like while we have done pretty well, we've fallen short several times, and I don't like that feeling, so.
yeah, and I believe the Amstutz project, they have done a better job of
Yeah,
that.
there's been a few issues, but overall, I feel like they've done a pretty decent job.
Yeah. Other questions? I wanted to just mention, I had put out the reach alert stuff more. We put out more flyers and posters there in parks and on community boards around town. It's been boosted and pinned on our Facebook. It's on our website, but we can't pin it there. And I will be handing out flyers at each market each week on Thursday nights at our info booth. The QR code is fully implemented out there. I'm trying to get more people to sign up. Plan to use it Thursday morning to say the first market is tonight, because I feel like if I did it today, they'd forget by Thursday. But that is on my schedule to do. So I do want to keep trying to push that out there.
Do we want to push our events on that? I thought that was more of,
Well, it was actually on the flyer and in our conversations, but if you don't want me to put events on there, I can
if we agree to it,
implement
then
that
we agree
policy.
to it.
Well, I think, because there is some road closures,
When those come, we would put road closures.
but
I have
what
been
about for the
saying
market?
we will not do weather. We will not do weather reporting. We will let the emergency alert system do weather.
Right,
But we can say the road's gonna be closed here, or there's an accident. That's why Andrew trained on it with us, our officer, so he could post, there's an accident, go around this way or whatever.
But the farmer's market does that impact the road at all?
No?
It's all on the plaza? I thought there was, for some reason, I thought we were spilling out into.
It'll flow over onto the side on Main Street only when necessary.
Okay.
But this time, right now, we're under the 14 booths and we can get them all up on the plaza.
Okay.
I'm totally willing to not put social events on there, but it was part of the promotional materials that it came with, and other
Did we
communities
talk about
do it that way. They even put council meetings on there,
Yeah.
which I guess we could have done today, was post that there's a council meeting tonight.
Well,
We better ask Andrew if he's working Thursday night to make a presence until we get some help.
The first
lined up.
farmer's market,
I'm telling you,
he will be there, he said.
Well,
if it gets busy downtown and from having a picture window to this place down there, you're gonna have people driving through town too fast and that many people trying to cross the road and make it off side streets. I think we need to get some additional help there, just to make a presence.
He's already scheduled for the market,
Okay.
yeah. And then he said he would work with the other officers once they're hired about that.
Okay.
I guess we're back to, what do we put on that? I don't know really what's right or wrong on that.
Do we ever develop a full policy on it? I don't believe so. I mean, I know we talked about
Yeah,
developing.
I'm not saying what's right or wrong, I don't know.
You
I
mean
know.
on the plaza?
No, on the reach
Oh,
alert
the
system,
reach.
on what was gonna go out, when it was gonna go out, that kind of stuff.
I mean, I like promoting our stuff, but I don't want to use it so much that they log off of it.
Right.
But I don't wanna not use it if it's gonna benefit. And I don't know the answer, because this is something new to us.
I think initially, while we're trying to garner that attention to Reach Alert, it might be wise to start putting it out there to start generating some conversation. But as we develop further and get more and more members, probably pulling back some of that advertisement stuff may be wise. So that'd be my side of it. But
I guess how many events would get sent out in a year?
Well, you got the farmer's market every week, and then whatever we have at the park, I would assume would go out on as well, which is the Freedom Fest, and there's like,
art.
But
Art.
would it be just stuff the town was doing, or would it be private, like Art in the Park isn't?
Yeah, but we shut down, well, like I said, in the shut
well,
down, Swartz does
the
it.
farmer's market, the town doesn't run.
No, we're helping.
Well, helping is, we're not running it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, we wanna dig down like that, then we wouldn't do any of it.
Right.
I'm not saying what's right or wrong, I don't know.
I'm just
I just don't wanna.
I'm just asking like how many
Yeah.
would get sent out in a year, you know?
I mean,
Well,
you gotta use it enough, I think it's like social media, we gotta use it enough to keep it present in people's mind that it exists, but we don't wanna use it, we don't wanna become a sign either that's like, you know, everybody who has an event, come see us and we'll put it on Reach, you know what I mean, like that's
and I don't want people to sign up, you know
Yeah,
what I
unsubscribe.
mean, because it's
Too much.
stuff that they don't care about when we promote, you know, maintenance work, road closures, stuff that they care about. And then, me, I like it all, but that's me. You know, the next person may or may not. We don't want people to unsubscribe from it.
no.
And
I think we need to develop probably some sort of policy and get it in our handbook, or get it in our procedures book. And then go from there, that's my own
You gotta be
opinion.
on this.
Yeah,
If you wanna be on that committee,
And I don't know
You
the
should
answers to
keep
these
it
questions I'm asking.
You can,
Right.
you wanna be
We
on
just
that?
need to be
Tyler
consistent.
has it in
Yeah,
his-
well, and once we have it and they sign
I
up,
wanna make sure
they can
there's
have
some
that,
things
a
that are-
brief rundown of what it's
Well,
for.
Okay, so
then they can sign
that's
up or
not
not.
the steering committee.
What's your thoughts? You live in
This
the
is
town.
only the,
This is for the comprehensive plan.
I think as
So
a
there's
resident, I
leadership
wouldn't
team,
mind
and then there's
the
this-
reminder
see this,
of a
there's
council
also-
meeting, you know what I mean,
it's-
or,
this is
or
setting
or
the
a
schedule,
reminder
but this
of,
is who's gonna
hey,
actually
by the
do
way,
the
this
work.
road's
That's
gonna be
what
closed
I'm-
next
that's what I'm-
week.
That's what you're-
or
Hold on a
that
second here,
kind of
guys.
stuff. I don't know that we wanna be promoting, I don't know, I don't know that we wanna promote every event we're doing.
right,
But then again, that's just me. I mean, I wanna know about town-related things.
Yes.
But like events
Hey,
are typically on the Facebook page.
Garbage
on
day
the
is this.
website. Yeah.
if we figure out what we're gonna do with,
We'll pick up.
yeah,
That'd be a good reminder.
yeah, take everything day as this day. If we figure out what we're gonna do with
The sign can be used for a lot of that stuff in the park
It is.
and then on the website.
so at this point, let's hold off on using Reach for the farmer's market, I guess is what I'm
Okay.
hearing. Is that
Just
correct?
Get
Until we,
the Facebook and the other stuff.
yeah, and
Can
then,
we maybe put that also on the survey even? See if people want it,
You got Facebook, you
you know what I mean?
you got the sign,
got a website, and you got the
Oh,
sign.
List out some things on that.
which has been on the sign. I've seen it on the sign already.
And the reach doesn't, I mean, I know we're just starting with
Right.
it, but
I think we need to, I'll sit down and try to think through maybe a loose leaf policy procedure, look around, see what we can find elsewhere for that kind of thing, and then we can get it presented and get it in.
well, a guy in my office lives in
I
Lions
sent
City,
notices.
and I asked, I mean, if he
The
signed
interview
up,
went
he's
well
like, I
Sunday.
have no idea what you're talking about.
Which, yeah, we need to get it out to them again, so.
On Wayne.
And I mean,
Oh, good. Oh,
All right.
I don't know the answer.
Do we have anything, Tina, do you have anything else out of this?
So in case it was confusing, and that's what Greg had a question here on the comprehensive plan. Right now, there's, we're calling it, for lack of a better term, the leadership team, which is our council president, the head of the plan commission, the head of the park board, and myself. And we have just been, meeting with the consultants for the comp plan only to set the structure for when there would be meetings, how often there would be meetings, and that kind of thing. We're meeting next week with them on Monday during the normal plan commission time, so there won't be a regular plan commission meeting. Just to do that part, and then we will be able to release the schedule, recruit those steering committee members, and start those committee meetings with the big steering committee that has more people on it. And I sent by email this form for people who want to participate on the steering committee to you all to recruit people. I have received a couple of people who signed up with this based on recommendations, but I've printed some for you to take if you want to hand them to somebody to sign up for steering committee. Lindsay, you'd be a good candidate. All of you.
Look at her, she's
One
like,
more thing.
You can do it.
I stayed 1 minute too long.
People in the audience who are joining us might want to be involved in
Yeah.
our steering committee. But
So-
we will be able to then, after the next meeting, release when those meetings are so people can put it on their calendar and plan to be a part of it.
So
And that's when we start the conversations about survey questions and
are
all.
we on track of being done February?
Yeah,
Or
yep.
running behind because of setting up? I don't know.
No, we're running pretty close. We had some contract, the lawyers, David and Tim both suggested we made some changes to the contract, which they made with happily. There was no, I don't think there was anything that they didn't agree to changing for us. But other than that, we're right on where we need to be, and we wanted to meet last week, and it just didn't work out, and we realized real quickly that with everybody's schedule, that next Monday was probably the best night to utilize
Awesome. I'm
it,
just
so.
asking. I don't have-
So, yeah, I mean, I think we're doing well. You'll probably see it ramp up real quick here, and then, so we can hit our June target dates for some of those questions and stuff from the community. So, any further questions on the town manager's report?
I have one thing for Ken. You see if Brian would check that speed sign on Grable Road that he installed, the digital one we got. I drove past like a couple times, it wasn't registering.
Oh, its batteries probably died.
Alright, yeah.
The one on Amstutz was doing that over the weekend too, so.
Okay, yeah, I'll remind him.
They did it like twice over the weekend, and it was working fine Sunday evening, so I don't know if it was just not enough sun or what was going on,
Yeah.
so. Alright,
And that's when we don't have the NDOT, in case you're curious. I only got the NDOT contract from them back. You guys signed it like 6 weeks ago, and I got a note saying it'll be 6 weeks, and it was 6 weeks till we got it back. And now we have to order the sign,
yep,
but they've issued a new version of the transportation Bible, for lack of terminology, of what exactly signs are approved for state highways. And so I had to resubmit my sign to make sure it meets the new standard, and as soon as I get that answer, we'll order the new sign, and go from there. But it's not like it's moving forward, just slow.
So is there any other miscellaneous business? Anybody have anything signed up? I think everybody spoke that signed up. Anybody have anything else from up here?
I have one question. Have we pursued the emails any further? You know, if we,
Just got the email back today, and Tyler and I are gonna add it to the agenda for the next meeting.
There's a vote that's required, so, for us to proceed. So but we didn't get it in time to make this agenda.
I was actually wondering the same thing.
Yeah. We just like literally, I think we emailed at 3:30 or 4 o'clock was the last email on it, so,
Good.
yeah. So we just can't talk about it tonight for that
Okay.
reason. Anything else? If not, no public comment. Upcoming meetings, Park Board is at 5 on Monday the 13th. Planning Commission doesn't have one, but, the committee for the Envision Plan will meet that night at 6. And then does BZA have one or not? They do not either. So then Stormwater's Wednesday, May 8th at 7:30 a.m. If there's nothing else, we can adjourn. Meeting adjourned.